Hello, Sandra. Good morning. Yes, it's still good morning. Where are you? It's morning here. What part of the world are you at? And let me know if the sound and resolution is okay right now at the moment. Jeremy, Bend, Oregon. I have been to Bend, Oregon. I think. Isn't that where the Crater Lake is at? Refresh my memory. I think that's where it is. Hello, Every. I see you're there. Join us. Carrie, hello, dear. Long time no see. I hope everything is going well for you and enjoying your life. And that's why you haven't been here. Jeremy says in Oregon, not Bend. But didn't you say Bend, Oregon? See, you say Bendor. I thought you mean Bend, Oregon. Who is this? Prince. Ah, thank you, Prince. Yes. Dart.bay, yes. Prefer Jedi than Carrie. Spend the weekend in Kansas City. Ah, good, 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 good. Yes, yes, Jeremy. I asked about Crater Lake, and I thought it was in Bend, Oregon. No, it's not in Bend. Oh, I see. It's not in Bend, but it is in Oregon. Yeah, okay, okay. I remember with a bunch of my friends when I was in um, attending university in Lewis and Clark, Lake Oswego, Oregon, off Portland. We took a little short trip to the Crater Lake. It was an amazing, amazing place. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I thought it was in Bend, but I guess I'm mistaken. So we have a bunch of our friends here. Donna says, "What is this about?" That's exactly why you're here, Donna, no? To find out what it's about. What this is about is that we have been having live talks and then in the form of lectures to begin with for the first long while, and then question and answer on topics have to do with thoughts, consciousness, fear, ego and desire, things to do with breakups, heartbreaks, relationships, and why one feels the way one feels after the breakup, the devastations and the thought processes, and all these things that all have to do with how the content of our consciousness, fear, ego, desire, thoughts, and so on, play a role in all this. And we try to learn, discuss topics that will help us to understand our psyche better, so we can analyze it better, we can deal and negotiate our day-to-day challenges that we face with, and have a better and happier life as far as we can help it. That's pretty much what it's all about. you should come to Iowa State Fair. Well, my goodness, I would love to go to all these places, but unless there is an event that I can speak or it's organized for that matter, it would then be a little difficult to schedule it in. You're welcome, Donna. I'm glad that you're here. But otherwise, I'd love to see all these fairs. I remember we had fairs in Portland when I was a student there, and it was always fun. Lots of rides and things and merchants and whatnot, and of course that wasn't the focus of our attention at that time. But it was always a happy occasion, lots of happy people, and it was great. Gonzalo, hello dear. Good to see you, Gonzalo. So we are looking for questions. It's now I guess we're fully stocked up with our friends around the world. And thank you for saying hello and letting me where you are. And we hope that we'll have another wonderful, or at least we think wonderful, discussion today for the next hour or shorter. And as I was explaining a little bit earlier, so we have been having these talks, Donna, for the past 1 year. And in fact, this month is marking its 1 year anniversary. And if you happen to have a chance to go and check the site that we have, mindthatseekstruth.com, you will find several books that I've written there. You have a chance to click on the books. It opens up and you can see the table of contents and read a sample chapter and see if that suits you. And because of the anniversary, we have decreased the prices of the books drastically, not because of economic objectives, because we've been getting lots of emails that around the world, especially India, they all want to say, we love the book, we've read the sample, we want the book, but it's expensive because of the US dollar and the Indian rupees and many other countries in the world. So I turn them all into ebooks because paper books are heavy and they're expensive, and they're still available, and I ship them when somebody requests it. But the ebooks were also still hefty. After turning them into ebooks, it was still $20, $26, and $34, and they still would think it's expensive. So now we've turned them into $4.99 and $5.99 and $6.99 just to make sure there's no more excuses, because my whole purpose, obviously with that kind of a price tag, there is no economic goals to be met here personally. The PayPal and marketing company and all that, there's nothing left. But I forced it through because I want you all get your hands on it. I want everybody to own one. It's now a price of a coffee. So it's not for me anymore. It's what I intended it to be, which is for you. So go get one, and then, whether me, my psyche and I, or Transient Thoughts and Me, or the Breakup Pain Handbook, either one of them, read them and see what it is, if it's something for you, and then keep it in your library and have a reference of it. Having said that, let's see if we have a question here. No, Donna, it is not based on any faith. It just talks about how this works. So we have now Arash. Arash asks how to find the perfect match. In order to find a perfect match, Arash, you got to know what are you matching it to. In order to find what are you matching it to, you need to understand what the content of your consciousness, how that has been put together. And as you know, your consciousness and everyone's consciousness has been put together partly through what they received through their genes, thousands and thousands from ancestors and so on, and the rest of it through the upbringing, the parents, the religions and the dogmas and the customs and the teachers and the rules and regulations of the community and society they were living in, the people they met, the stories they read, the books and the schools they attended, the newspapers and the videos and the movies and whatever else that it was an influence to them, and through that their consciousness was formed. Which of course in the past we discussed how thought and consciousness are related. That's a different topic which you can look at the previous live talks or the videos on the YouTube channel. There's over 500 of them. You can find thoughts and consciousness and search it and it will come out for you. So once you understand the content of your consciousness, and once you focus on the kind of life that you're leading, meaning the order of life that you have created for yourself, how you do things, how you live, then these all will help you to understand who you are, what is your center, what this is, how this is put together, and how you tick. Then you have an opportunity to know you want to match something to this, which is pretty impossible because no two consciousnesses are the same, but there is a very good chance that you can understand each other's consciousness and try to compromise if there are differences, and differences are normal. It has to be different, otherwise, it would be abnormal if everybody is just exactly the same. Robotics. So then on that basis, you guys can try to bond on consciousness level. Otherwise, if you think finding a right match would be how you're turned on by her or how she's excited about seeing you on physical level or on few things that makes you guys have fun or happy, whether the car you have that she likes or the kind of lifestyle that she leads or you lead that you each like, or how pretty she is or how fit you are, and if it's all on physical level, it'll always fall aside. It won't work. It will go for a while, and then if you haven't been able to create happiness from inside you and you expect your happiness to be created by the other partner, that will never happen, because everybody comes to a relationship in order to be happy using the other side and expecting the other one to make them happy. If you're going into a relationship just so the other side will make you happy, well, that's not going to last, because the other one is doing the same thing. You got to first find out who you are, what you are, how you're put together, and be happy. Find your happiness, and then go and find a relationship. Then try to match yourself with someone on the consciousness level, not just the physical level, and then you'll have a better chance. Then you can explore life and find more challenges to solve it together and deal with it together. That's pretty much in a nutshell. And I hope that would be something for you to think about. Anna, good evening from Poland. Hello, dear. Dobre wieczór. I think maybe that's not Polish. I'm sure it's not, but maybe you understand it. Okay. Now, we had another question here. Tonj. You're welcome. Asks, you're welcome, Arash. Dobre wieczór. Okay, now the other question we have here is from Tonji Question. It says, how do we stop expecting things of others that they cannot or will not do? For instance, expecting a partner to be more similar to ourselves, or expecting a family member to understand us understand us better. The expectations lead to disappointment and also make the other person feel like they are not good enough. Well, why do you expect them just to understand you? Why shouldn't we be understanding each other? And basically you try to communicate and find common grounds with people, whether family or not. And if you genuinely have tried and on tones that is acceptable to them and to yourself, create a learning environment about each other. And if still doesn't work, you walk away. I mean, there's no mandate that you're supposed to definitely make something like that that is not palatable to the other side to force it through. You say, how do you stop expecting things of others that they cannot or will not do? To understand that your happiness is not in the hands of the others, because you expect them to do certain things the way you like because you think that would make you happy. But if you can be content in your own, on your own, without the affirmation of the others, and without their announcement that they understand you, they appreciate you, they think you're great and all that, so forth, then you don't need them to be so compliant to how you want them to be. You respect the way they are, but you respect yourself the way you are as well. And so you move on. You create the connection on the basis that is mutually respectable, mutually appreciable. Not that it has to be in a certain way before I'm fully satisfied. Well, tailor your relationship if it's not fully as you want it to be. Just the parts that they are good at and you're happy with it, that's enough. When it goes over that and you see it's not, then you just don't bond and don't have your relationship on those bases and you move on. And your partners, you have to understand that no partner will be exactly like you, and if you want to make them exactly like you, that's exactly what you're making them to, why you're making them to move on, because nobody wants to lose themselves, who they are, how they're put together, their own norm, their own order, and become like somebody else, and then you expect them to feel comfortable about it. They can't feel comfortable because it's not them. Everybody wants to be themselves. And everybody wants to be accepted and affirmed by the others. Everybody wants everybody else to appreciate them. Get that out of your head and appreciate yourself, be who you are, but don't expect the others to affirm you constantly. And if they don't agree with you, they're not like you, so you don't want to have anything to do with them. But tailor it to the point that is comfortable for both of you. So, the expectations is the cause for disappointment, and therefore you have the answer right in front of you. Don't expect it. Why do you expect it? What does that expectations or their affirmation or their being exactly like you do for you? You should not need that to feel how you feel when they actually comply. You should feel wonderful about yourself based on how you have understood, negotiate life, and have come to understand what you're all about, what your goals are, how you can negotiate it as best as you can, and basically to understand who you are, how you're put together, how you think, how you function, and then on that basis, knowing what it is that makes you different with the others, then you wouldn't mind it. If you don't understand why, and you think every time that they're different from you, it's because they're defying you or they're against you, well then that you wouldn't like it. You want to make everybody like you and be like. But if you understand that differences is because of the contents of the consciousness, and that's normal, it's not like any malice in it, then you will tailor your relationship to the level that is okay, and you'll be fine with it. Pretty much, that's something I have to say about that. Saba, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not. Hello from Hungary. That's exactly how I feel right now. Hungry. No. I hope it wasn't a bad joke. Tanya. Tanya tells me it's pronounced like Tanya. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So, Tanya, where are you located? Where is this name's background from? Donna Maddox. Back. What does back mean? That's a big back. Donna, can you help me out here? What is that comment that you made? Erica Lala from New York. Hello, Erica. Good of you to join us. I'm looking for questions while I'm trying to. Juan says, hello, sir, from Long Beach, California. Oh, hello, just close by. Erica Lala says, hello. We're looking for question, guys. And we have had a couple of nice ones, few nice ones. And we are looking for questions. So it was just the last week that we had unbelievable amount of questions, and we were busy all the time, which was wonderful. Heidi from Florida. Hello, Heidi. So we have said hello to many of you. Now we are looking for more questions. So throw your questions in. Otherwise, I'll finish my tea and I'll be on my way. Time is passing. Don't tell me for a whole week you were waiting for this live talk and you have no questions. Erica, the topics can be anything to do with thoughts, consciousness, ego, desire, fears. And by the way, when you go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, guys, there is a video of a seminar I did at the local university last year. Talks about the end of fear. That's a very interesting video, which you're welcome to take a look at. I guess 10-12 minutes of it is free there, and if it was interesting, then you can purchase it for, I don't know, nominal fee, a few dollars or whatnot. But that explains to you the role of thought and fear, and thought and time. And I think that is something that you would enjoy. And there's also another topic, another video that it's on my YouTube channel, which you know we have over 500 odd number of videos, lectures and short ones and question and answer ones and also long ones. And there is one that is called the quality of our life, or quality of life, watcher and the watched, observer and the observed, controller and controlled. That's also very interesting if you're up to these sort of thoughts and consciousness and relationship between the two. Watch that video, which gives you quite a bit of interesting information. And I think most of you, being interested in this sort of thing, would enjoy it. Now, Donna says here, how to stop overthinking. I have a video on the channel, the YouTube channel, and talks in detail, and in the book Me, My Psyche and I, and of course the whole book of the Transient Thoughts and Me, it's talking about the overthinking. Of course, there are many reasons for it, which I've discussed in the videos and the books, and there's not going to be enough opportunity here to discuss the whole thing, but I'm going to touch on it. You overthink. Overthinking in most cases is part of the program of your brain. Your mind is responsible for your survival and your security, so it's always like a security guard is looking for trouble, is constantly scanning everything that is happening in your life and every thought that is coming to your consciousness, to your mind, and is looking for trouble, and is playing a game, playing the war game, playing this security game. What if? What if this happens? What if that happens? That's his job. He looks for trouble, then he tries to come up with the solution. And when you find yourself overthinking about something, because your thoughts is trying to see if it's safe, and constantly conjuring up things that may never ever even happen. But that's his job, his program. So you got to learn, because something is coming into your mind doesn't mean it has credibility. Mind, thoughts are stupid. Just because a thought appears in your head, that doesn't mean that it's welcome, it's been sanctioned, it's been asked, you invited it, it has anything to do with you, and if it defines you or has anything to do with you at all. It's there, but because a thought appears, and it appears in your head, and your head is attached to your body, it's part of you, so the thought appears in you, and you have credibility for yourself, you then believe the thought, because it's here. And it's come from me. I know the source. I trust the source. It's reputable. So the thought is reputable, you think. It's credible. But no, that thought may not necessarily have anything to do with you. Because you are like a receiver, like a radio, like a television. You have an ability to receive frequencies, programs, thoughts, which is all out in the collective consciousness. But when you have a program that you dial your radio or your TV, you receive a program. Does that mean because that program is now visible in your TV screen and it's in your home, does that also mean that you produced that program? It has something to do with you, or you're just simply a receiver which can receive all these broadcasts? The brain, the mind is the same. You're a receiver. You can get all these kind of thoughts through material process of the brain created, or because something that you became aware of it, or somehow through childhood or through TV, through videos, through whatever media, through other people, somehow it has found its way into your library, your consciousness, and now somehow randomly you recognize that subject that is in your library. But that doesn't mean just because you walk in a library and a book is open, that means you opened it, or you want to read it, or you want to be interested in it. It's part of the library stuff. The book's going to open up, and each book has lots of subjects in it, which are thoughts. So we think of a library as our consciousness. We think about all the books as thoughts, and sometimes these books open up, and randomly you pay attention to it. But doesn't mean that's your thought. Somehow that book, that topic, found its way into your library. But it doesn't mean that you wrote the book. So when you think of something, it is not necessarily credible. It's a thought. But you deal with it as if it's something so reputable and credible. It has all kinds of logics and basis for it. No. It's a job of your brain that is trying to find trouble. And if there is one, he wants to figure it out and come up with a solution that may never be used. So you go through this overthinking, trying to find problems, possibilities, or how to fix it. Something that has already gone, is past, it doesn't exist anymore, it's in your memory, but you're in there because you're not satisfied with the way it was handled. Now you want to fix it. You keep going in there and you think you're doing something. That is a no issue anymore. It's dead. It's gone. You neither need to defend it or modify it or anything. It's not an issue. It's not a problem. It will never make you any trouble. The past memories is dead, is gone. It's not a threat from it. And the overthinking is about something that you're thinking a possibility. And again, that's the job of your brain. So don't take every thought that comes to you seriously, and then understand how this process is through what I mentioned to you very shortly, because in the book of Me, My Psyche and I, or in the Transient Thoughts and Me, it's much more elaborate, a lot more information. I hope this is something for you to enjoy and perhaps answers part of your questions or your question in general. So, that was Donna. So Arash says, why divorce is much popular now than before? People are scared to marry. Well, there could be many reasons. Some could be the reputation of marriage, that everybody gets married and pretty much everybody gets divorced. It's not like the old times that, until death do us part. It is just until your money runs out, or until I'm not not interested in you anymore. Because most connections or bonds are based on physical appearance, physical part of our entity. We are made out of two different entities. I mean, we have mind part and the body part. But most connections for these long-term promises of togetherness is based on physical appearances and physical interests. And that always, anything physical, always has a duration. And unless you bond on the consciousness level and a deeper level, and then that marriage, like anything else that is physical, based on physical things, won't last. And also, people are now looking at the opportunities and possibilities that are out there. So they're constantly trying to bring more pleasure to themselves, and they look at life as if it's a place for them to just come in, have pleasure. So therefore, how much more pleasure can I have? This is good, it's pleasure, but now I've had this, now I'm bored with it. Because you see, there is a difference between joy, pleasure, and when you see someone and you don't know them, and it was a wonderful conversation or time to spend, it's a joy. And you have a great time, and you consider, oh, what a joyful moment, and you're just elated. But then your thoughts come into the picture and says, hey, I want more of that joy. I want to make that joy permanent. I want more of it all the time. So then you pursue that to make it all the time, and that joy then is no longer joy. It becomes a pleasure, because you turn it into pleasure by making it temporary to a permanent, and that pleasure is a gateway to boredom. Because anything that becomes a pleasure is all the time, then you're going to be eventually bored with it. When you're bored with it, you are again looking for joy. And you think, oh, this is not joy. Well, it was. You turned it into pleasure and continuously wanted more of it until you're throwing up of it. It's like, you know, when I was a kid, one night my mom and dad wanted to go out. And I wanted to go out with them because this particular cafe or wherever it was an in thing, and it was, you know, I was a kid, you know, I wanted to go out too. So I said, what can I do? I said, well, you know, I looked in the fridge, there was a big bowl of spaghetti there. I said, oh, if I eat all of that spaghetti, then there would be no dinner, and they would say, then there is no dinner, so we should take him with us so he can have dinner at the restaurant. So sure enough, I had the whole spaghetti. So because I had so much of it, I almost threw up. And for a life of me, for the next year, I didn't want to look at a spaghetti. So if you turn something that is so wonderful and delicious, and you want to have it all the time, so much of it, you want to throw up. And by the way, they didn't take me, you know, they made another thing for me. And so I had the spaghetti and almost to throw up, and I didn't get to go with them either. So watch your steps. Don't try to turn joys into pleasure all the time. Because once that happens, then no longer is a joy, and you'll be in search of joy, and you think what you have, it doesn't qualify, and then you look elsewhere. So people are trying to turn their whole purpose of life to be how much more pleasure I can have. And they treat their marriage the same way, as if it's, as long as I have pleasure in this marriage, I stay. When it's no more fun, I want to go. Well, when you look at it this way, and you make it not to be joy anymore, not to understand each other on consciousness level, only on physical and material things, well, eventually you're trained to look for more things. This is how people are in this day and age. They're looking for, how can I get more things? So I've got as much as I could in this relationship, and it was based on material things and physical things, and they all have durations and limitations, so I can't get more. So how else can I get more? By leaving this, going somewhere else, because I think there's more there. And you treat that one the same, and then eventually you're constantly getting married and divorced. A little bit on that point. We have lots of this on the videos, but here I try to make it as short as possible. Now, Sonia says, hi Meran June. Hello Sonia June, good to see you here. Let's see. That was Arash. Juan says, been married do you think is wrong that I still talk with my ex? I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Juan says, been married or you've been married. Do you think is wrong that I still talk with my ex? We're just friends, nothing else. No, what's wrong with it? If you all support each other, and if you have children especially. If you don't have children, it's better to cut it loose and go on your separate ways. But what are you hanging around? You already hung around together, and eventually you got married, and then you got divorced. So what are you hanging around again? To get married again, to get divorced? It didn't work. Unless you guys have come up with some new revelation or whatever that about yourselves and each of you, and bonding on different levels, that you're hoping to lead into something else. Okay. But otherwise, if there's no children involved, just move on. It's an anchor to hold you back. However, if you guys are cordial to each other, respectful, and help each other, support each other, and it's a healthy relationship, that should be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all about relationships and communication, and as long as that is there, that's the purpose of, one of the purpose of life. Pradeep says, hi there, hello there. Erica Lala says, do dreams have validity? Are they signs? Actually, we had this question last time, Erica. There are different things about dream, as far as I understand it. As you know, often our mind is constantly conjuring up things and thinking and processing, and whatever we think, a lot of it can come into our dream. It was last time I think I explained that at one point in my life I was designing things, inventing things, and I was inventing this particular gadget for dispensing pills out of the conventional prescription bottles at the pharmacies. You know how you go and get your pills filled in a bottle? Pharmacist puts in the bottle, closes the cap, and gives it to you. And you open the cap, invert it in your hands, and then a bunch of them comes into your hands, more than what you need. So if your hands are dirty, all the pills get contaminated, or they fall on the floor and children find the lost pills or pets and endanger their lives. So when you put the extras back into the bottle, then the rest of it are now contaminated if your hands were dirty. So this little thing that I made was supposed to be an insert to go inside the conventional containers of pharmaceutical containers, and then while the cap is closed, you invert it so nothing falls out and nothing touches your hands. You bring it back to the upright position, then you open the cap, and then you would take the pills, which would be at the close proximity of your fingertips, and you take them as you need them. So only one will be touched, and nothing falls on the floor. And shaky hands of the elderly will not have problems with it. So I created this, and there were 8 different sizes of containers in the pharmacy those days. So I had 8 different inserts to do this for each size of the container. And then I sold to pharmacies, and a bunch of them bought hundreds of thousands here and there. But then when the pharmacies would not keep buying their containers from the same source, then the toleration of the mouth, the opening, was different. So my inserts would fall in or wouldn't go in. So, I stopped it, and 20 years later, one night I was sleeping because this wasn't solved yet. This problem wasn't solved. So my mind was continuing to process it, to find it, even without me knowing. But off and on I was thinking about it. Then what about that invention? That was interesting. I almost had it. So I was thinking about it off and on. And then one night, 20 years later, my son had grown up and so on and so forth. It was 2007 that in my dream, I dreamt the solution. And I got up, and surely I wrote it down, and the next day I started prototyping. I made a number of prototypes, and it looked promising. And then I turned out to have one size, one piece of plastic, fit all bottles. So that took care of the sizes and tolerations. If they don't buy their containers from the same source, it would still fit any container. So then we market that and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when your mind is busy on something, whether you notice it or not, when you think about it so long, when it's a unsolved something, there's a very good chance that your thoughts, your mind is continuing its process even when you're sleeping. So you may, when you're calm, you may see that activity, that solution, that thought, that in form of a dream, come to forefront of your consciousness, forefront of your memory, and you actually see it in your dream. But that had a base of some activities when you were awake. That's an example for you to say that when you think about something long enough during the day or over day and day, then you may actually dream about it because it's something in your mind and the mind is searching for some answer, whether you notice it or not. But sometimes you do dreams things that have nothing to do with thinking about it. Like, somebody passes away and you dream of him or her. My father passed away a few years back in 2011, and on rare occasions, out of the blue, comes into my dream, and I do take that as some kind of a communication, but my information on that is very limited. My son knows more about that. It's more clear to him. So there are some things that we don't understand, at least I don't understand, and there are some things that we understand, or I do understand. But I do know that not all of them are meaningless. Some of them are meaningful, or perhaps a certain kind of a communication that is coming to you. But can't offer more than that at the moment. Okay, now, what else do we have here? So I hope that helps you out, Erica, to ponder. Dogan says, so where do thoughts come from? Dogan, that's a big discussion. I've discussed it in many of the other videos and other talks. But you can go to my YouTube channel. Just put my name, Mehran, M-E-H-R-A-N, space, .beh, D-A-D-B-E-H. And the YouTube channel, you search for thought and consciousness. It explains to you clearly where thought come from. Otherwise, I think we'll go over our time today because it looks like we've got lots of questions here. But short and long is thoughts come from the field of the known. The field of the known is the content of the consciousness, is our consciousness. Every thought comes from the consciousness. Now, the relationship between thoughts and consciousness is explained in that also in that video that I recommended you guys watch it. It's called Quality of Our Life, or Quality of Your Life, Watcher and the Watched, Observer and the Observed, Controller and the Controlled. If you go on my channel and search for Watcher and the Watched, or Quality of Your Life, Watcher and the Watched, you will have that video and that will help you out. It's a very interesting video, actually. I watch that myself sometimes. Now, yes, Kerry. For that, you may want to do some meditation before you're sleeping. And in the book that you have, Me, My Psyche, and I, Kerry, I know you purchased my book in paper version. Go to the meditation chapter. You have a complete explanation of how to meditate, how that meditation works. Learn that and do that during the day or during sleep or before sleeping, not too late, because when you're too sleepy and you do meditation, you fall asleep right in the middle of it, which is maybe fine for you. Once you learn that, sitting seiza or zazen, sitting cross-legged or on your knees. Then eventually you become good at it. Then you can do it when you just lay down in bed and want to sleep, and go through that. Before you know it, you fall asleep. So when you give a mandate to your mind, especially about the meditation, the mind is focused on the meditation and will not be interested because it likes meditation. It brings it tranquility and depth and enjoys that, because that's when it becomes in harmony with the nature, with the universal energy. And he wants it because that's his place. He wants to be there. Therefore, you relax, and most activities of thoughts will decrease, and then you will find that relaxation and the frequency to sleep. Now, so we answered Dogans, and Carrie. And then we have Sonia. Sonia says, how to manage my anger. Again, to understand anger, to understand how to manage, you got to understand what anger is. And you got to see the relationship between the ego and the fear and the anger. And once you see all this, then the anger actually disappears. But in the short time, as a shortcut, if you get angry and you don't know why, or you just got angry for some reason, it is always a good thing, a shortcut, to just move from where you are to another room when you're by yourself. And as you're standing up, have your arms hanging beside you naturally, and start shaking your wrist like this, but while the arms are down. So you shake it, and you can see my whole body is shaking, but I'm loose at the wrist and moving from my fingertips. So in other words, I'm noticing my fingertips as my wrist is shaking my hands like that, naturally and comfortably. But then look at my shoulders, and I even come a little bit above the ground on my toes, just a little bit, because I'm shaking. So I make it very loose and natural, not restricted, not with anger, with loose. And you shake it as much and as fast as you can for about a minute. Fast, fast, fast. If you all do it right now, stand up and have your arms fall on your side naturally, and stand up and, like a little springy, start shaking your wrist from wrist, and let your body react to it, like your shoulders and even your legs go up and down a little bit, just naturally. And shake it as fast as you can. Fast, 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 as fast as you can. Oh, just go at it. Fast, 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 fast. Fast, 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 fast. Shake, 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 shake your whole body. And then about a minute later, stop. And you feel something is rushing out of your fingertips. Focus on that feeling flowing out of your fingertips. That's a feeling you will have when you learn how to extend energy. Now, for the first time, you're feeling the energy, how it feels when you extend it out of your fingertips. And focus on that. And you realize right now, you're very sleepy, you're very comfortable, you're very relaxed. Because when you're angry, the blood boils and your shoulders come up and the circulation changes. When you do this, the whole thing comes down and goes toward your center of gravity, and it falls into place, and you're no longer out of jar. And that is the beginning of your mind and your body both becoming united again. When we are angry, both are separated. And when they become united and join at the one point, which I've explained in that book, Carrie, you have the book, and then you become calm and your anger goes away, because that shaking the whole thing has kind of calmed your blood, calmed your circulation, brought this back to where it's supposed to be. So you regain your composure. I hope that is something.
と help you out.
「 Carrie says, thank you as always. I love your feedback. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. So let's see. So it looks like we have, you're welcome, Juan. We have answered all questions here. Prince, are you still there? What time do we have? Yvette, perhaps this is our last question. While my friend Prince is looking for to tell me what time it is in West Coast. Yvette says, by the way, Yvette, you didn't tell me where you are watching the program from. 12:32. Okay, we have about maybe a few minutes. Yvette says, maybe a weird question, but when I don't work, I feel useless. So I work 7 days a week and get exhausted. But when I have a day off, I'm not able to relax and recharge. Let's take a little short trip and go to your childhood. Was it like you were really focused and been told that you gotta study your school, do your homework? I don't know what school, which part of the world you went to school. I don't know their system. But I know how it was for me when I was growing up. School was an important thing. My mother especially was on my case all the time to be a good student and get good grades. My father had a PhD in law and was more cool about it. So when I didn't have good grades, I'd go to my dad. My mom was a bit tough to deal with. However, so that whole business of studying and doing homeworks, and we used to get lots of homeworks in our school. It was a European style, but there was too much of workload, and the school was a serious thing. So I got conditioned to think that I'm always supposed to be studying. Fun was not good, supposedly. I mean, it was, but it wasn't encouraged to have fun. We were always encouraged to study, which is something which really is not good. But what happens is through time, you get conditioned that you're expected to study, to do something. That carries over to your adult life when you're actually no longer in university or school, you're actually in the workforce, and when you're no longer working that day, the day is over, you still feel, and you're having a little bit of fun, maybe you're watching a movie or going somewhere or just playing tennis or just goofing off, you have this feeling of guilt that I should be doing something, I'm wasting time, because it was introduced to you, you were conditioned to think that having fun doing nothing is wasted time. Now, at this age, if that has been your case as well, I don't know, you're conditioned to think not doing something equals wasting time, not being productive, neglecting your responsibilities, not doing study, which is now carried over to your work. Not doing work is not acceptable because not doing work is like wasting time, because having fun is represented or conditioned in your mind as a useless waste of time. Therefore, you feel you're doing something bad, you feel guilty, and then you don't enjoy. But you have to change your consciousness, your concept of relaxation and fun and work. You gotta now understand that fun is good. Fun is something you have to do. Condition yourself that you deserve, you must, and it's part of it. And if you really want to trick yourself, think of it that if you really want to do a good job at your work, fun is a necessity, prerequisite to it, because it helps you to do a better, higher quality of work. And if that is really important for you, then this should be, because this would be the prerequisite for you to do a better job. So change your conscious understanding about fun, that fun is good, is part of your tuning up. It must be there. It's for your health to become stronger. And it's true. It takes a while, I don't know how old you are, But to this day, I'm just beginning to, to get free from that conditioning. So it's all about conditioning. Change this, and that will change as well. Change what you think about fun and relaxation in here, and make it to be something that is important, needed, and necessary, and you deserve it, and you must do it, and you want it, and you love it. You love it more than work. Change it around. Bring the balance to the whole equation. I hope that will help you out a little bit. Now, having addressed all the questions, I want to thank you guys for being here and give me the opportunity to share with you some opinions and some things that we usually do every week. And please do check my YouTube channel and look at the videos that are there. Please do check my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Take a look at the table of contents of the books. Read a sample chapter. And the books are now totally very, very affordable on ebook version. Please do get your hand on one of them. I want you all own one, because it's not about economic objectives anymore. It is just for you to be able to afford it. Anywhere in the world, it's now, somebody says, it's the price of a coffee. So get it and have it as your reference and enjoy it and take a look at it once in a while. Now, also, next week, as usual, we'll have the live talk on my own Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth. If you're not signed up on it, please do go on my Facebook page and click like, or be one of the people there, because then all the posts and communications and so on and events, whatnot, is there, and you can always see new things and new videos that I put on that Facebook page. You can enjoy it as well. So I hope you will have a wonderful week and sort things as you wish. And hope things will go your way. Be good to yourself and to the others. Love you all, and thank you for being here, giving me the opportunity, and hope you had as much fun as I had sitting in this side of the screen. Talk to you guys later. Have fun. Be good to yourself, and see you guys next week. Bye for now.